guys, welcome to
the brand new podcast, Young and in Love.
Young and in Love.
This is the podcast, Young and in Love. Hello, young lovers, and welcome to another episode of Young and in Love. Young and in Love. Again, I'm Josh.
And I'm Taylor.
We're the Andersons. And this is Young and in Love. Young and in Love. Young and in Love.
Young and in Love.
This is Young and in Love. We're going to take a quick moment and highlight one of our sponsors, Anchor.
So if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let us explain.
It's free. All you need to do is download their app or visit their website, which is anchor.fm.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more.
They will literally take care of all of the distribution services, so all you have to do on the day of is hit publish. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone using an app or computer if you'd much rather just use the website.
You can even make money from your podcast without even having one listener.
Yeah, without a single listener, they'll find sponsors that are willing to give you a chance and give you a shot at making money.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
So all we ask is that if you have a story to tell or a message to share, that you download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. All right, welcome to another podcast episode. I am your host, Josh.
And I am your co-host, Taylor.
Yes. And this is another episode of the Young and in Love podcast. It is a podcast that takes everything that happens in our life and puts it into audio form. Puts it on the internet so that it can be stored forever and ever. For those of you that may be new, we call ourselves young lovers because I'm 24, Taylor is 21, and we are married. So we're pretty young and very much in love. This podcast is an audio journal of our lives. Again, we are the Andersons. This is an expression of our understanding of love. Lessons we learned / are learning or will learn as a young couple, and questions we decide to hash out over an open mic. We hope that all of you can learn from our experiences or simply know that you are not alone in this journey called life. Last week we were in Disney, but 2 weeks ago we talked about what was going to happen in Disney and sort of the traveling that we were doing and all of the exciting stuff that was happening in our lives. We also talked about why you should get married. Oftentimes when we were preparing to get married, a lot of people would come to me saying, you shouldn't get married, and this is why. And it was always so pessimistic. I think,
or we're out traveling and people see us and we start talking to these strangers, like that guy in Savannah, and he's like, oh, what are you two kids doing? And we're like, oh, we're married, we're just celebrating my husband's birthday. And he goes, oh, you guys are married? And you're happy? Just wait, or you'll see. Or I don't know, did he say something like that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, we get it all the time, right? I think you get it more often than I do because 24 is a more understanding age to get married, because I've graduated college, but you haven't.
Right.
So we were listening to the morning show one time with Elvis Duran show, and he is about to get married.
Did we talk about this already?
Yeah. I'm just recapping what we talked about last week. Okay. So last week we talked about a question that he had brought up on the show, which was, why should he get married?
Right.
And then they talked about it. So we also shared our thoughts about that. So if you guys are interested in that, you can go back to last week's episode and catch up on that. This week. When I had an idea to start a podcast, I had no idea where to start. But I had listened to Candace and Casey's Couples Therapy, and they had mentioned an app called Anchor. And I was really intrigued to see how really simple it could be to make a podcast.
Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means that you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad.
So, if you always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's Anchor, as in ANCHOR.FM/START to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. I can't wait to hear your guys' podcasts. We are going to be listening to a couple voice messages from my family. We asked them, since last week we spent the week in Disney World as well as one day in Universal. Tay, you want to talk about everything that we did?
Yeah, so we got to Orlando on Monday. Lucky for Josh and I, Orlando is only like a 2.5 hour drive away from Jacksonville. So we got there like around noon on Monday, checked in, put all our stuff down in the room, and then it was just like a really chill day at the pool. And then later Monday night, we had a wing eating Hot Ones themed contest. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, we spent those days inside Disney World at all the parks. And on Thursday, we got up super duper early after being up really, really late Wednesday night, like out till like 2. I think I fell asleep at like 3 a.m. Wednesday night or Thursday morning. And then we had to wake up at 7 or like 6. I think I woke up at like 6:30 Thursday morning so that like I could get ready and like get dressed, and so we could go down to Universal to get tickets and then make our breakfast reservations. So yeah, it was crazy. Lots of go, but it was a lot of fun. And the week went by way too fast. Very fast.
Do you feel like you need a vacation for your vacation?
Honestly, no. I feel like Monday and Tuesday were like a little hard because I was really tired and like super bloated from like all the food we ate. But I woke up Wednesday, so yesterday, and I started to feel back to normal. So I think I'm okay now. But now I just have to like wrap my head around the fact that I only have a few more weeks of just relaxation until we go on another trip.
Right.
And then after that trip, I only have a few days, and then I go on another trip. So. And
then a couple weeks, and we go on another trip.
Yeah. So.
And then you're like, oh, then you're okay.
Unless I go on the other trip that I haven't qualified for yet, but I'm going. It's just a lot is going on, guys.
Anyway, so that's what we did in Disney, and we were going to record some there, but it was really busy and really packed, and we were really exhausted every day. I think
really sweaty and gross.
Yeah, it was super hot, as you'll hear from some other members of the family. But as we mentioned, one of the really cool aspects of recording our podcast on Anchor is that it gives you guys the ability to send us voice messages. And we took full advantage of that this week because since we didn't have the opportunity to record a podcast episode with my family around, we just asked them to send us voice messages. So even though I've got family that lives in Ohio, North Carolina, and Utah, they were still able to fully participate in this week's episode. So we are just going to jump right into that. We'll listen to them in the order that they sent them to us, so that way we don't miss anybody. And then we'll just talk about their thoughts and what we think about Disney as well. So let's jump into it. These first ones are from my sister Stephanie and my brother-in-law Ilya, who live in North Carolina. So they are the Klemenkos.
Really comfortable rolling your window down, I'm sure.
Okay, so this is Stephanie and Ilya. We have a few questions to answer here for Josh and Tay.
Okay.
So the first question
for Disney was, what is our overall impression on our reunion in Walt Disney World? My overall impression was that it was freaking hot. All week,
very and
every
sweaty.
day, all day, soaking wet shirts. And it was just a long day every day.
So it was terrible for you.
It wasn't terrible. I obviously have fun. Disney still has that magical feel for me. So I had a good time. It was just going from 9 a.m. till 11 p.m. It was a little exhausting every day, especially when you're just sitting there sweating.
Yeah. My overall impression was, I'm getting old. And I can't go that way.
I think, oops. So as a disclaimer, this was a learning experience for us, and voice messages are limited to 1 minute. So they didn't know that. I didn't know that. They got cut off at 1 minute. But she's like, you get the point. So that was their first response, and here is their second.
We're recording again?
Yeah. Okay, so question number 2 for Steph and Ilya.
What was your favorite part of the week? My birthday.
Yeah.
Got a gift from you and a luau birthday cake.
Yeah.
It was a good day. Saw Toy Story Land and my favorite characters, pictures. Overall, satisfying day.
Yeah. I'm a big picture person. So taking all the pictures and getting all the pictures and just hanging out was my favorite part. Not having like we had time limits that we had to do, but like the week just kind of flowed and it was nice.
Yeah.
To be able to just chill with everybody and not have to worry about driving an hour and a half to some event or doing something else or whatever. Yeah. So that was nice.
And the last one, what aspect of our family are you most grateful?
On. So you only get a minute, so we'll have to do the next one. Okay, and question number 3.
For what aspect of our family are you most grateful?
So for me, since it's my family, I am most grateful that we are family people and we really try to keep everybody involved, even though we're all spread out across the U.S. We're very family oriented, so always having that support behind me in some way or somebody to turn to. That's what I appreciate and am grateful for.
I don't like any of you, so nothing.
Wow.
I just like that you guys can take a joke. That's what's important to me.
You
Even though I make some lewd comments and jokes every now and then, it always goes over pretty well. Nobody said anything like, judges. Wow, dude, you crossed the line yet. So I'll always appreciate a family with a good sense of humor.
Deal.
On every level.
Deal. Thanks.
Cool. What do you think of their points?
I thought it was very accurate. It was very hot and sweaty, like we already talked about. It takes a lot for me to sweat, guys. I normally don't really sweat that much in my workouts unless it's like super hot where I'm working out, or like I've been like lifting heavy for like over an hour and I'm just exhausted. Then like maybe I'll sweat a little bit. But no, in Disney, I was dripping sweat. It was rough, and not something I'm used to. And then Steph talked about the convenience of everything, and that was probably like one of my favorite things about the trip was just how convenient and easy everything was with her like magic bands and just doing the fast passes and the dining plan. Like you just didn't have to think about anything. You just sort of showed up and hopped on the bus and you went where you wanted to go, and the app told you when you needed to be places and could tell you how to get there, like if you wanted to go. And Yeah, it was super cool. I mean, like, you could use your magic bands for everything. So, like, really, we didn't even have to carry around our bags if we didn't want to. We could just use our magic bands and get whatever the heck we wanted whenever we wanted. So that was super cool.
Yeah, just as a background note, we stayed on Disney property at the Art of Animation Studios, or the Art of Animation Resort, and we paid in full ahead of time, and we paid for all the bells and whistles for our stay there. So we had a meal plan that told us how many meals we should be eating a day and how many snacks we get, which was far too many because we got to the end of the week. We were throwing away snacks at the end of the week.
I know, but I like snacks.
Anyways, so there was that, and then we were staying on the resort. So as Stephanie said, it was really convenient. And then the last question was, what aspect of their family are we most grateful for? So after a week of being together, I wanted to really challenge them to find something that they were most grateful for in our family. And this podcast being an example of what Stephanie was talking about is that we really like to engage one another, and even though we're all spread out across the country, we still like to spend time together. So as you'll see in this podcast, we're going to hear aspects from everyone, no matter where they are, and that's pretty cool that Anchor lets us do that. So, and we are all jokesters. So I completely agree with Ilya. It's really good to be able to just joke sometimes and not have to worry about people biting back. All right. The next one who sent us some impressions was Christina. So we'll listen to her.
Honestly, taking kids, or young kids at least, in the heat of the summer is a bit of a nightmare. But every minute was worth it to me. I don't get to spend a whole lot of time as a family, so I really tried hard to make the effort to be positive the entire trip, even when my kids were crying from exhaustion at times. And preparing myself for that mindset was imperative to having a successful trip. So it sounds really silly, but I honestly think my favorite parts of the trip, at least, were the meals we spent together as a whole family, and being completely catered to. So, like, the atmosphere at Disney is, like, absolutely unlike any other. Don't care how cheesy it is, but, like, being called princess for a week and never having to worry about meals to cook and messing up sheets, carpets, and bath towels was so utterly relaxing and comforting. I think I'm most grateful for my family's awesome sense of humor. With all the soreness and lack of sleep and exhaustion, we never failed to share a laugh and exchange smiles. I think this actually might have been the first reunion trip we've had where nobody lost their temper with another family member, which is a huge success.
All right. And that's Tina.
I was really surprised about that too. I thought for sure that even though we were going to be in like the most magical place on earth, that somebody was going to snip and bite somebody.
Right. Somebody was going to say something or poke fun. Yeah, but no, we were in the clear, which was really nice. It was unreal, the level of customer service that Disney crew members have.
Yeah.
Or cast members, as they call themselves.
Like, comparing all of our 4 days at Disney World to our 1 day at Universal, like, day and night difference. Like, the people at Universal were so rude and mean compared to the people at Disney.
Yeah, I feel like Universal, this is probably a terrible stereotype, but they just hired everyone that Disney didn't. If you like fail the interview at Disney, Universal's like, well, our door is open, like, come on in. yeah, it was incredible. And just the ease, again, the convenience of being there on Disney property and always having help, or if you needed something, they would always go out of their way to really satisfy that. So we'll go right on, because Christina explained hers really well. This is what my mom and my dad had to say about the whole experience.
The first question was, what's her overall impression?
Hot, fatigued, awesome fun. Well planned out, watching out for each other while we were there, talking individually with each child and grandchild. The pictures are fantastic.
Second part is, number 2 was, what was our favorite part of the week?
Dad said, I love seeing 7 unique individuals and their spouses, and the 6 unique children they are raising. It is getting more and more complex, and I find that fascinating. Playing Andron was fantastic. And Mom, my favorite part was that my kids still want to be with us and their siblings, and they want to spend their vacation time with us and their siblings. What are you most grateful for about our family? I am most grateful for the close relationship that we have as a family, that I know my kids are there for each other through thick and thin, good or bad. We argue, we talk it out, we forgive, and we love.
And I am most grateful to be a part of this family with so many super talented and good people. And I just appreciate that there's a little space there for me.
Okay, so a quick note is Andron is a sport that me and my brothers made up when we were younger, because there was always 4 of us, and a lot of the sports that we like to play as kids, you'd need a lot of people to play. So like football, you need like at least 10. Basketball, you can sort of play 2-on-2, but we didn't have a basketball hoop. We got a soccer net later on in life, but we invented this game that we play with sticks and a frisbee with a hole in it. And so we introduced that game to the rest of our family. Well, some of our family. Some people just slept. Anyways, any thoughts on Mom and Dad?
It just makes me so happy. I just love your family so much. Like, I don't know. I feel like I love when we all like get together, because I don't know if my family listens to this, but like your family is super, super close. And I feel like my family, like, we like to be close, but we all like our space. So we like can't spend that much time together, or else we all like go crazy. And like my family is sort of crazy. But your family's just so different compared to mine, in like a good way. Like my family's good too, but if they're listening, just disclaimer, I love you guys. But like I really love your family because they're so inclusive and just like super like loving, and just they take everyone in. And I feel like from like day one I've been over, like they just made me feel like I'm just like one of you guys. Like especially your parents, they just make me feel like I'm like their daughter, like as well. Like no like second thought like about it, which is really nice.
Yeah, I've always felt really grateful to be a part of my family, just because of that loving nature that maybe was not always expressed verbally when we were growing up, but it was most definitely felt and expressed through action. So go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I feel like now, like the more or the older we get, I feel like I value like family and like family relationships so much more than I used to, just because like I've seen like friends come and go like way too many times that I would like to, but like family's always going to be there no matter what, and like you're always going to talk to them, and you're always going to have opportunities to grow closer like to your family, and at the end of the day, like your family is probably the only ones besides yourself that like has your back.
Right. Other things, they really fired off there. A lot of things really quickly. So I'm just gonna listen back to that really quick, especially that first one. They rattled off a lot.
The first question was, what's her overall impression?
Hot, fatigued, awesome, fun. Well planned out, watching out for each other while we were there, talking individually with each child and grandchild. The pictures are fantastic.
Second part is...
The pictures really are outstanding. We got this package called the Memory Maker, which I like. If anyone is thinking about going to Disney, that is probably the thing that made the most sense to buy. Because no matter where we went in the park, there's always photographers that Disney hires to take your picture, and they're very good, and they take a lot of photos, and they're professional photographers. And they're always in like key moments where you're like, oh, this would be a really nice picture. And then you turn around and there's a photographer. And the Memory Maker allows you to take as many photos as you want. They just scan your Magic Band. And then after your vacation's over, you just go online. Or if you have the app, you can view them in the moment.
Right.
But you just go online, you download the ones that you want to keep. And you can print out as many as you want. And it was amazing. So we have a lot of cool family photos as well as individual photos, and the Memory Maker even saves the photos from rides, so you don't have to worry about buying them in the moment and then carrying them around the park. That was just amazing. So we have a lot of good cool memories. All right, the next one is my brother Ben, so we'll see what Ben has to say.
This was probably the best family reunion yet. Granted, I missed 2 of the now 4 because I was on my mission in Australia, but so what? I love how we had enough time each day to explore a different park, as well as being able to go off on our own, because we're all adults, and some of us even have our own families now. It was also great to be able to have those whole family moments with all 19 of us. And share memories together of what happened during the day. My favorite part of the week was probably staying up till 1 a.m. in the Magic Kingdom with all my siblings and in-laws. We're all just hilarious when we're together. And being stuck in a line trying to pass the time just sort of made it even better, trying to figure out what to do. So the aspect of our family that I'm most grateful for is how forgiving we are with one another. When there are 19 of us all together, there's bound to be something done or said that doesn't sit well with someone. The Andersons were kind of forced to grow up with this principle of forgiving because all 7 of us kids running amok in the house. Someone is always playing with someone else's toy or wearing someone else's clothes. So when we put 19 of us together, it really put the principle of forgiveness to the test. And it wasn't a perfect family reunion, but we made it through, I'd say, with very little conflict. So even with all of our flaws, our family finds how to forgive and move on and have a great time. I think that's what makes families so special and critical for a happy life.
Well said.
Yeah, maybe one of the more insightful comments that we've had so far. Christina touched on it as well, about the fact that the other family reunions that we've had haven't been exactly uneventful when it came to conflict and heated discussions.
And stress. I feel like this one, I mean, this is only the second one, but I wouldn't consider last year really a
Right.
family reunion because that was just our wedding week, but it was so stressful. I don't know about you. I was so stressed last year, so this was super nice compared to then.
Yeah, and also the forgiving nature. Obviously, we are learning more as we get older, and the more experiences that we have, every time we come back together, I think it's a little easier to understand each other and what we're going through and why we are the way we are. So, which kind of ties back to my dad's comments as well about seeing like 7 unique individuals now get, at least 4 of us are married to 4 unique individuals, and now all 3 of my sisters have kids as well. So the 6 grandkids that my parents get to see really requires a lot of understanding and acceptance and forgiveness, and a little sense of lightheartedness that we're not as serious as we may think we are, and that helps a lot. Well, we've got some thoughts here from Nick, so we'll listen to those now. Okay, I don't think I'm going to include Nick's audio clip because he has a budget cell phone because he's a college student. So his audio kept cutting out. It was a little rough. So we're just going to probably leave that out. But he talked a lot about how he was just very thankful to be all together again. This was the first family reunion since the first round, like in West Virginia, that we were all together, except, this is going to sound bad. I don't know if Nick went. I don't think he did.
I wasn't there.
Anyways, it's been a long time since we've all been together on one vacation. So he was very grateful for that and just the time that we had to spend together. And he was also very impressed with Disney.
He said Disney was better than Universal.
Yeah, by far, which was...
which I agree with.
Yeah, Tay's example of night and day. Also, good news is that Elizabeth just sent me her voice messages. This very instant. I sent her a text message at the beginning that you might have seen on the video if you're watching on YouTube. But this are Liz's thoughts, and then we'll wrap up.
So my overall impressions of Disney were that it was a lot of fun, and we had fun as a family, and we made memories together, which we don't get to do a lot now that everybody's sort of spread out. But we got to catch up with each other, see each other. We had a lot of fun. It was tiring. I was pretty much dead by the end of every day, but it was fun. I got to see my sisters and my brothers and talk to them face to face, which I don't get to do a lot. So that was my overall impressions. Was we got to spend time as a family, and that was good. All right, my favorite part of the week was probably the wings challenge, because I don't know, it was one of the only things that we all did sort of all together. Everyone was there. Everyone was participating. And we did other things together, but that was sort of like the one thing where we actually spent time all together doing something. And we all participated, even if we weren't eating the wings. We were all watching and talking with each other. And so that was probably my favorite part of the week. The aspect of our family that I'm most grateful for is probably our ability to let things roll off our back or to forgive each other. Because sometimes we all sort of have very bold personalities. Well, I guess most everyone has bold personalities. Sometimes they clash, or somebody takes something too far, or whatever it is. But I like how our family just sort of rolls with it. And sometimes we get a little angry, but within like an hour, we're pretty much over it. And that's probably my favorite part of our family, or what I'm most grateful for. No one really holds grudges or gets angry for super long amounts of time.
So Liz came up with a unique answer, right? Her overall impressions about Disney were that we all made memories, which we sort of talked about, and how we have a chance to see each other even after we've all been spread out for a little bit now. Mm-hmm. But she said her favorite part of the whole week was the wing challenge, which, if anybody's familiar with the YouTube series Hot Ones, on the channel First We Feast, it's by Complex Magazine. It's in a celebrity interview show where they interview the lead interviewer. His name's Sean Evans, probably the best interviewer I've ever seen. He comes up with very thoughtful questions and always has an entertaining 25-minute show. And they bring on celebrities and they eat 10 wings, ranging from your classic hot sauce to the hottest hot sauce in the world. And as the wings get hotter, so do the questions. So we did the same thing as a family, minus the questions, because I didn't prepare that much. I just made the wings. So we all ate really hot wings.
A lot of preparation.
Yeah. And then we, it was like 80 wings or something. And then we ate them and reacted. And my family's got a lot of videos, and it was very hot. And the next day was not that great, but totally worth it. It was really fun. And it was a really good time together. And then she also talked about how we all have very bold personalities, or the majority of us have bold personalities, and a slight stubbornness that we received from my dad's Philadelphia upbringing. But we also have the ability to let things go. So we understand that our relationship as a family is far more important than the moment and being right, or the priority of our families is far greater than the priority of our pride, is how I'm going to say that. So it's really good to just let things go. Yeah, that's about all I got.
I can't wait to go back
to Disney.
Yeah,
I'm pushing it further and further back.
And I'm gonna try and get it here as close as I possibly can.
Yeah, Taylor wants season passes next year, and I still don't see us using them to make it financially viable.
So if you have a season pass, come talk to me so I can help convince Josh.
Yeah, or send us a voice message. Yeah, if you go to anchor.fm/younglove, you can click on the big plus button that says send a voice message, and you can convince me why we should get a Disney season pass next year. So send us a voice message and we'll include it in the first 10 minutes of our show next week as to why Josh should cave and buy a Disney season pass. If my brother Johnny ever sends us his thoughts about Disney Vacation, we'll put those in next week's episode as well. I've texted him twice now, so if he hasn't done it today, so we've recorded. Other than that, we will be back next week. Hopefully we can have some guests on next week, because I've got the microphones now, and we've talked to one couple that we're probably going to bring in, especially the Simpsons, because well, they've got some major life events coming up, so it'd be cool to get them in before it's too late. And that's that. Make sure you guys reach out to us on Instagram. Our handles on all social medias are at YoungLovePC. Or you can visit us at our webpage, which is anchor.fm/younglove. That is anchor.fm/younglove, which is YOUNGLOVE. One word. And that's about it. We will talk to you guys in the next one.
Good night. Bye.